Goku getting yo everyone, Starter Protagonist is here to set the record straight. I've been sick for like a month. You probably couldn't tell because of the videos where, there was nothing wrong with me, but except you may have also noticed that my voice has changed a bit, and that was probably like the big giveaway of me being sick. So yeah, and it's been like a month, but I'm finally better now, and I can finally continue on making good videos. So with that being out of the way, let's get into today's video. This has to be one of the biggest fumbles I've ever seen from Warner Brothers when it comes to gaming. Now, for those of you who don't know, it was announced that on May 30th this year, the servers will shut down, but it will be playable offline. Now, as unfortunate as this sounds, I can't help but not feel sorry for Warner Brothers. While I do think the blame is mostly on Warner Brothers for two specific reasons that I'll get into later, I think that Player First Games also plays a role in this upcoming shutdown when it comes to mismanagement and poor decisions. What's also unforgivable is the lack of communication between the community and the devs. They just wouldn't listen to the issues that the community has been voicing ever since the official launch. And it wasn't until now that they decided to fix the issues that people have been voicing for months. While that is amazing news, the damage is already done. This should have been fixed months ago and the numbers would have done a lot better. What frustrates me the most about this situation is that MultiVersus had the potential to thrive as a really good platform fighter. Not on the level of Smash, but still good enough to play for hours until the cows come home. I really enjoyed playing the beta back in 2022. It was fast paced, sure, but it still felt like fun. The character roster wasn't bad either. Characters like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman were expected since they were WB property, but we also got characters from Looney Tunes, Adventure Time, Scooby-Doo, Rick and Morty, Steven Universe, and many more. Even the new characters add more flair into the game. I lost my damn mind when they added the Powerpuff Girls into the game. I have loved this cartoon since I was a little kid, and as a massive Powerpuff Girls fan, they will forever be my main. I can't help but play as these three little munchkins, not only to show my all-time favorite cartoon, but their attacks are really cool to pull off. And I also like the inclusion of Raven from Teen Titans and Marceline from Adventure Time. She's one of my favorite characters in the show. And just now we got Aquaman and Lola Bunny as additional characters. I do like the inclusion of most of these characters. They're pretty fun to play as, but this was the biggest issue I had with this game. You had to unlock the whole roster through a paywall. Now, I understand that this is a free-to-play game and they need to incentivize people into playing their game. I don't have an issue with that because with games like Fortnite, the stuff you buy in the game are cosmetic. You don't get an advantage over someone because of a skin you have. And even though MultiVersus also had cosmetics in order to access the costumes, you have to unlock the characters first with real money. When the beta was launched, you had to buy one of the founders packs to access some of your favorite characters, because the game was on a weekly rotation where 3 characters were available to play as online for a week before switching to 3 other characters in the roster. You do get Shaggy and Wonder Woman right off the bat, but everyone else had to be unlocked. And if you wanted access to the whole roster, you had to pay up to $100 to play as everyone. However, when the full game was launched, they made it even worse. You now have to buy every character for 1,000 Gleamium each. Either that or you have to grind the game out to get every character, or you could just buy the fighter roll to get every character at once. Now, it was easy enough for me to get the two of the characters in less than 4 hours, but you have to grind for a lot of hours to even get more, or you could have just, As a result, I stood away from the game for months, and it wasn't until a day after the latest season dropped where I re-downloaded the game. I was lucky enough to get the Powerpuff Girls with the peak currency I had, so that was good enough for me. I did not spend a single dime on this game. I just want to let you guys know that. I did not spend a single penny on this game, and I was still able to get my favorite characters. And of course, the game does have their battle passes, which cost the same amount as the ones in Fortnite. But thankfully, unlike Fortnite, the fighters and cosmetics in MultiVersus aren't exclusive. So even if you missed out on them in the battle pass, you were still able to buy them in the store, which is good. Yeah, next time maybe do this shit before Chapter 3 Fortnite. If you played the beta before the full release, you could have gotten Season 1's Battle Pass for free. And because the game is shutting down soon, they made Season 5's Battle Pass completely free. So you can immediately get Aquaman when you log in. And you can also get Lola Bunny for free as well, which is really cool. I actually had some fun playing as this spunky bunny, and she can even do a butt punch too, which is unexpected. but it's both funny and cool to say that a button is using her buttons to fight. It's been a common rule to include a butt punch into a video game. While all of this is nice, it doesn't change the fact that you had to unlock most of these characters by either spending real money or by grinding an obnoxious amount of hours to even get to your favorite character. In my opinion, all of the characters should have been free, with the costumes and other cosmetics being purchasable through Claimium and other in-game currency they have in the game. Something that Marvel Rivals is doing right now. Every character is 100% free to play, even the new ones they add, with the costumes being locked behind the currency system. That is how you handle a free-to-play game. And even with the outrageous monetization of this game, it also doesn't help that the game was hella slow. Just look at this clip here. Now, it wasn't like this when the beta was out, so how the hell do you make a full release worse than the beta? I really don't get what the devs at Player First Games were smoking. Again, it's good that these issues are fixed now, but they should have been fixed a long time ago. And as much as I enjoy seeing Lola Bunny in the game, I do see that this was a character not many people asked for. If it was Daffy Duck, then people would be singing a whole different tune. But it's not just Lola that barely anyone asked for. Characters like Agent Smith and Nubia were also not favored by fans. And how do you have a Dexter's Laboratory stage and not include the main kid himself in the game? In fact, I think it would have been better if they included other characters in the game like Mordecai and Rigby. I think they would have been amazing inclusions to MultiVersus. I do have to cut the devs some slack because it does take a lot of time and effort to include fan favorite characters into the game, but they should have worked on communicating more with their community. This is also another reason why the game failed in the end. Though this does circle back to the reasons why Warner Brothers are also to blame. Even though Player First Games failed to make the game even better than the beta, it doesn't mean that Warner Brothers gets the pass. In fact, I think they're the main reason behind this game failing, because I'm pretty sure they're the reason behind these outrageous founders packs and microtransactions. Publishers have the most control, so whatever decisions they make, the developers have to follow suit. And companies like Activision and Warner Brothers are hella infamous for their greedy business practices. The reason why Guitar Hero fell off was because of the oversaturationness. 6 games were released in the same year and none of them were successful in the end. And Guitar Hero Live was the nail in the coffin. Not only did they introduce a new guitar controller that was terrible, I can say for myself as I have the guitar, but the game acted as a live service game even though you had to pay $60 for the game. You also had to use real money to buy in-game currency to rent the better songs in the game. As such, it caused major backlash and the game ended up failing, shutting down the servers in the process in 2018, and the only songs that are available are the 42 songs that are on a disc. Warner Brothers are no different. Suicide Squad killed the franchise and became one of the most infamous games of 2024 due to the story, the connections with Sweet Baby Inc., and the fact that it was live service despite having to pay $70 for the game. And it didn't help that you have to have an online connection to play the single player campaign, which is total BS. And with MultiVersus, you had to pay $100 to have all the characters during the beta, and you had to grind an obnoxious amount of hours to unlock a character or buy the character doing in-game currency. I have no issues with unlocking a character in a fighting game, especially one that I paid for, but MultiVersus should not have to be this expensive. I feel bad for the people that bought the Founders Packs, because this was a very shitty move from Warner Brothers, and I highly doubt that they'll give refunds to those who spent a lot of money on this game when the server shut down. I also wish they would have continued with the collabs while also promoting their game. This was the main reason why we haven't seen any DC skins in Fortnite for over a year. They had too much of an ego to want to continue their connections with Epic Games because they were so focused on making MultiVersus a game that can compete with Fortnite, something that's hella impossible to do. But they probably knew that, which is why we started seeing DC skins come back into the shop. Even skins like Starfire, who was only there for 10 consecutive days knowing Chapter 3, and it wasn't until Chapter 6 where she finally returned. And with MultiVersus on the verge of shutting down, Warner is now considering and doing more collaborations in the future. Hell, the co-creator of Ben 10 is considering doing a collaboration with Fortnite. And while that does sound interesting, that doesn't excuse the fakeness coming from Warner Brothers. Why can you continue to doing the collabs while also promoting your free-to-play game? More Fortnite players would have hopped on MultiVersus and both games would have existed in the same space. You shouldn't have to sacrifice collaborations for a game when the collabs could have helped promote your game. But unfortunately, this is where we ended up. I know I bitched a lot about the monetization, but like I said before, the mismanagement and poor decisions also played a key factor to MultiVersus' downfall. And because of all these unfortunate outcomes, the baggage that WB and Player First Games have to carry will be a hefty burden. And again, while the game is fully fixed and 100% playable, the damage is already done and most players aren't coming back. That's why the Season 5's Battle Pass is completely free. That's why the Gleamium is no longer purchasable, and unless you have Gleamium saved over, you won't be able to attain the costumes in the store. It's very sad that a game like this is now on the verge of endgame. It has so much potential to be almost as good as Smash Ultimate. I do hope to see change as time goes by, but I doubt that the numbers will go up to 10K again, let alone 5K. I appreciate what Player First Games have given us. Being able to play as the Powerpuff Girls in the platform fighter for a second time was a really fun experience, and I'm sure I'll be able to carry that enjoyment locally whenever I have my cousins over. But because of Warner Brothers' greedy business practices and Player First Games' mismanagement and miscommunication, I can't just sit here and gloss over these issues. And I also can't gloss over the community's behavior, because while I understand people's angers and frustration, sending hate and harmful threats to the devs is unacceptable. They are also frustrated and upset at this news, because I'm sure they wanted to keep this game going. Again, I do hope this game gets saved, but Warner Brothers should just stop with the live service route, because they, along with other companies, cannot compete with Fortnite or even Marvel rivals. And I think in the future, they should build upon what worked in Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion XL and make an even better platform fighter without having the need to compete with games like Fortnite and Smash Bros. For now, all we can do is enjoy this new season, as I am. I might get my cousins in on this to play with me. Maybe I'll do a group gaming video on this, assuming if I can get friends to play this, but only time will tell. But what do you all think of this? Have you played MultiVersus? What are your thoughts on the game? And how do you feel about it being shut down in a few months? I would like to know in the comments down below. And until then, this is Star the Protagonist signing out. As always, Goki Genyo, and have a startastic day, everyone. If you enjoyed today's video, then be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn those notifications on to join the Star Nation. Also, be sure to follow my Twitter, and while you're at it, check out my previous video. Now.